Yeah.
Oh, wait, I think we're live. I just realized the flaw in my plan here, which is I can't see the comments. Oh, well.
Yeah.
There's
No comments.
no comments.
I mean, there can be comments, but you can't answer to anything. So
Right, exactly. I can't respond. I can't do anything. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hi. I don't know where people are joining us from, but obviously we are in fantastic freaking Frankfurt.
Mhm.
You can't. There's a window there. You can tell because there's a giant glowing light right behind Marcus's head.
Yes.
I'm
enlightened.
Yeah.
you look like
First
like a
time I've
ghost.
ever said that. It's a very weird feeling. No, it doesn't fit. Let's not do that again. No, it's a beautiful city.
Yep.
The worst airport in the world. We can say that. But
I mean, good connections.
nope, they have success. I have connected via Frankfurt and Lufthansa, Frankfurt Airport and Lufthansa to 3 different cities in Germany in the same day because they're terrible at connections, right? Have you ever arrived from another country, arrived in Frankfurt thinking I'm going to go one stop to my next place, which is in Poland, and instead got routed to 3 other cities in Germany?
Yeah.
It's only possible with Lufthansa and Frankfurt. It's the worst. Anyway, but the
This
wonderful
podcast sponsored by Lufthansa.
right. Yeah. Worst experiences. But none, and I've been to this airport like hundreds of times, literally hundreds of times, right? I've been there almost as many times as I've been to my own home airport because my own home airport is San Francisco. But I leave San Francisco only once every now and then. But I pass through a bunch of other countries on the way, right? Before I go back to San Francisco. So it's possible I might go to Lufthansa, Frankfurt Airport like 3 or 4 times.
So it's like a magnet, kind of
Right.
pulling you in.
Yeah.
Just like the mafia. I thought I was
Match
out,
made in
they
heaven.
pulled me back in. What?
That's made in heaven.
Oh, it's awful. So anyway, but I say that what I'm trying to say is the city's really great despite the airport, right? You can't judge a book by its cover, nor should you judge a city by its awful airport. So it's with that backdrop. Hi.
Hello.
We're in Frankfurt for the Vaadin Create show. Not, I will note, a cruise ship.
We're working on that.
I wanted to register my disappointment.
Yeah, we failed that this year. So
It was a collective 4 of us. We should have willed it into being a little harder, but next time maybe. But still, super great conference, right? Here we are, beginning of day 2. Yesterday was, I mean, my back still hurts. I spent all day just talking to people at a podium. Writing code.
Yeah, I saw you had your laptop open, you were coding with folks.
Just the best crowd. I mean, these are great, eager people, super smart, present company accepted. Just amazing. So thank you for that.
thank you for coming. It was almost always having you like really live coding with that energy. It's kind of raised the roof.
Yeah.
Well, the reason I go quickly is because I want people to get to the, spring is there. It's a foundational layer, but the really fun part is when you can ship business apps to production.
Yeah.
And for modern user interfaces, I can't think of a better way than Vaadin, right?
Well, I heard a very interesting rumor from Christian from the Spring AI team. Apparently you do a talk also with James Ward where he does the commentary, which allows you to code 3 times faster.
Yeah, that's true.
Which seems physically impossible.
We do that talk together, and and by the way, we're doing a talk with Venkat next year. So James and Venkat and I will do a talk. Who's going to be doing the coding? I don't know.
That's going to be an interesting
project.
Well, I'm kind of thinking we should get 3 laptops and 3, plug into one monitor, 3 screens, dueling banjos kind of thing.
That would be fun. I would sign up for that.
And I was kind of surprised to see you opening up first Neovim, and it was really kind of hey, maybe Josh will be coding in Neovim. That would be awesome to see.
Neovim, I love Neovim. Yeah. Neovim's good. I mean, wait, hold on. Let me. Who are you?
That's a good question with this jet lag.
I'm so sorry. I'm Josh. You can ignore me. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I'm Leif. I'm doing kind of research and visionary stuff for the Vaadin frameworks.
Jonas, co-founder.
Yep, and then
and Marcus, I lead the product team.
I think you've all been on the show before, and I think our astute audience might recognize you all, but just in case, I wanted to register who you are. Okay, so we did this. I was lucky enough to be a part of your amazing keynote yesterday.
Yeah.
Which I always love because keynotes are half a victory lap on what's already been delivered, and half a sort of, what's the next horizon look like? What are we trying to race to?
Yeah.
And I love those. I love that feeling you're in the middle of a marathon, and we've done so much already, but we're going. Look how far we can go. You know,
I
next
mean,
year
in this industry, you can't just like stand still like that.
I mean, Apple. You know, they
Try.
it seems to be quite profitable for them too. You know, so it's okay.
So maybe we should try that. No.
No, I like Apple. I was just kidding.
Yeah, I mean, you certainly give all your money to them. So.
Yeah, I mean, I am. You know, if my backpack fell on me, it would crush me because of the weight of my Apple purchases. You know, so. Okay, so we're on the Vaadin Create show. I think were you? Which one was it? It was you and me maybe last year? Were you there as well?
I think it was 3 of us.
Yeah, I don't remember being there. Yes.
Yeah, you were not invited.
I think we had.
Thanks a lot.
I'm sorry. We might have had another conversation.
But
I've been on this show a couple of times.
Many times.
I think over the years.
Yeah.
But not on that particular occasion.
I don't appreciate when people say I should quit my own show and then you should replace me. It's very disturbing, but it happens. But no. So we had a conversation here, and then we had many conversations in between and before and after. And so last year we talked about signals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is something that is immensely interesting to me because it's one of those. You saw in my discussion yesterday where I used NeoVim.
Mm-hmm.
I showed that the best JavaScript is a script written in Java, right? And then I showed with Thomas Vertinger, the GraalVM founder, a few weeks ago at DevOps, I showed that the best Python is Python that's run on the JVM, right? Right, and then compiled to a GraalVM native image.
So would it be fair to say that you like Java?
I think it's not that I like it; it's just better, right? It's a better result, you know, for what you're trying to do most of the time. And similarly, I think did you notice that there are people over there?
People?
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of.
Oh,
Is this like a Louvre heist?
That's so sad too, by the way. Like poor Louvre. So anyway, I guess what I'm trying to say is that the best user interfaces are written
In Java,
but sometimes it can be scripted. If you're using jbang.dev, right? Like you can do a script, Vaadin app, a single source code file.
I've never tried that,
but you can, right?
Matti has
Matti
done
has done it,
yeah. And so you can do this. So it is a script that's written in Java. It's a JavaScript UI, right? And you
it's
have
kind of a strange concept.
and it's a very. I mean, who would use JavaScript in the user interface, right? I agree, it's weird, but JavaScript is great. Right?
JavaScript for the UI in the backend.
To be really correct, it's a Java shell script.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah. So all these things work really well. But one of the concepts they have in the JavaScript world, which I want in the JavaScript world, is signals, right?
Yeah.
These are this thing that allows me to. It's an observable for a property, a value.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a value you can depend on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I remember like this is many, many, many years ago when I first started working with like React and all these tools that we're using. Reactive programming model where you have like your state defined completely separate from your view definition, and I was like, oh, first it took me a while to like wrap my head around that, but once I got it,
it's really backwards in one way.
But once I got there, I'm like, oh, this is super. I like this, and then I wrote a ticket, the Vaadin repo saying like, oh, we should definitely have this, and I think it's currently our highest upvoted issue over many years, and now
we're gonna close it.
Now
soon.
Then like 7 years later, it's like Leif was like, maybe I should do something about this thing.
Yeah, and then 7 years later, let's do the next ticket.
What is it? I mean, I think I jumped the gun there. I shouldn't have described it so cavalierly. It's a feature that. Why would you use this instead of just having a string? Why would I have a signal of a string or of a property, right?
You should use it because then you can make your components update themselves when you change that data. Because otherwise what you have is kind of, you got this button.
Yeah.
And sometimes it should be enabled, sometimes it should be disabled.
Yeah.
And you got like these 5 different things in the UI that might affect, should it be disabled or not.
Yeah.
And if you in each of the event listeners for those 5 things try to see that, should I enable it or not at this point, then you will have a mess. But if you say just that kind of the rule for if this button should be enabled, we read this signal value and this signal value and this signal value and combine them together to say yes or no.
Yeah.
And then whenever any of those signal values change, the framework just takes care of seeing what should we do with this button. You don't need to kind of hook them up to each other or anything like that.
How do they know about each other?
Through that signal, because I mean, when behind the scenes, when you in that callback for the button configuration, when you read a value of a signal, the framework sees that now this part of the UI depends on that signal instance, and then when it changes, then we know what to rerun.
I think the kind of maybe analogy would be that, like in C, it would have to be like allocating memory and freeing memory and all that kind of tedious stuff that you would have to be doing. So in here, all of that is automated, like in Java.
Yeah, but in this case, it's kind of automatically adding and removing listeners instead of automatically allocating memory.
So the automatic allocation, the automatic registration of listeners and deregistration, all that is implicit in the fact that this component depends on the value from that signal. Is that true?
Exactly.
It's bound to it, but that's all you have to do.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it's almost magic.
Yeah, I like it.
I mean, it's just like you have in all the JavaScript frameworks like React, Svelte, and so on, but applied to Java, which actually makes it quite interesting because suddenly you have multi-threading and other things to also take into account.
Well, okay. Before we get that's
Okay.
Oh boy.
And not only that, you can also push the signals over the network and different.
Yeah, as well.
Oh,
but then
automated as well.
Then you need to use JavaScript. Okay, well, you mean clustering? Yeah.
Well, hold on. So before we start talking about enterprise Java signals, what is? So you mentioned Svelte. They famously built a whole compiler just so that they could treat regular variables as signals, but without actually having the complexity of signals. Then they had to undo some of that in Svelte 3, I think it was, right, the new one, because they realized, okay, actually, even with magic in a compiler rewrite, we can't always correctly determine when these things should be, treated like a signal, right? So they had to say, okay, actually, here's a thing you can write code with. It looks like a signal, right? So now, Svelte, React, Vue, Angular?
Yeah.
All of them, right?
All of them.
They all have the same.
I mean, it's just like such a kind of brilliant concept that everybody implements the same thing.
Yeah.
Although they only do that within the state management, within that one virtual machine. So they're not doing like full stack signals like we are doing, where we could kind of distribute the same signal across different machines as well.
Yeah.
Well, so okay, so now let's talk about that. So I'm thinking you've got a notification in effect. You've got a registration of a listener. It's like an observable in a simple pattern, right? And you're saying I can hook up the recipient doesn't have to be another widget. It could be another JVM. How's that work? Is that already implemented?
That's not implemented. We have built the architecture to support it. So we got all the plumbing in place. What's missing is just to actually add the interface for creating adapters for kind of saying that here's a Hazelcast, do it through that. Here's a Redis, do it through that, or whatever you want to integrate through.
Cool.
It's going to work in such a way that it will be eventually like consistent. So in a way, it will be everybody who's listening in. Eventually, they will be seeing the same value in there.
Yeah.
We should set up a Spring integration.
Yeah, and
integration, right?
And it's really like and for being like such a simple concept, it's incredibly powerful because you can share some of these values between people and have like really truly multiplayer things, and then you can calculate other local signals based on a shared signal value.
So you can have a signal that depends on another signal, which is itself
calculated.
Wow. Okay.
And not just single values, they can be like trees, or they could be lists, and so there are a lot of.
What happens if you have nested like trees and you just change one leaf of a tree, and then that's you have one symbol pointing to a.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to write complicated but efficient code, then you can actually have kind of your very granular signals that are nested inside each other. If you want to make things easy, then you just have one DTO, and then you just set a new instance of that DTO. Then you flush more over the network, but the code is also simpler.
Wow.
But for like lists, you really need to be thinking that you cannot think in terms of index, that this is index number 3, but it's kind of between these things and in the end of the list and the beginning of the list and that kind of operations. That we need to be kind of really representing those change operations, not just like the full state.
Right now, does it already detect if like a complex object, like if I change a list, does it know that just one thing has changed, or do I have to tell it the whole thing has changed?
If you're using the built-in list signal, then it knows exactly which part of the list has changed. If you just use a Java util list, then then the whole list changes as a whole.
Okay, but either way, it seems
So
reasonable.
there you can choose kind of what granularity do you want.
Huh. Oh, wow. And so you've got different subtypes of signals, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. For complex types like collections and
Yeah, well, there's value signal, number signal,
yeah.
list signal, map signal, and then the node signal, which you can create kind of arbitrary tree structures with.
This is
That's kind of fundamental concept in a way, like.
Yeah, and that's kind of, I mean, we talked about this a year ago, and what's taken so long? Well, we looked at all the cool, awesome JavaScript stuff,
right.
and then we
The bad
realized,
kind of JavaScript, not the JavaScript.
Yeah.
JavaScript.
Exactly.
yeah, well, front-end frameworks.
But the ones that are written in the bad JavaScript, not the front-end frameworks,
right.
the good
Exactly.
Java
Yeah.
script.
Yeah. But kind of we looked at those for inspiration. And, oh yeah, this looks so simple.
Yeah.
And then we come to about these multi-threaded things and making things work as you expect in Java and so on. So
That's my head kind of hurts. Is that I'm having what's that headache with pictures? An idea. That's an idea. What is the it's like a message passing if I listen to a signal? Can I treat it like that?
Behind the scenes, we are doing very straightforward event sourcing.
Okay, I was gonna say this is gonna evolve. all distributed systems eventually devolve into CQRS. That's where you eventually get to an event sourcing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Spring annotation part, that was an interesting idea. So what would it actually take?
Yeah, that's the interesting question, because I mean what we need is a durable event log.
Yeah.
That you get events from. That's it.
Okay.
And I mean, like I mentioned, Hazelcast can do that, Redis can do that. Lots of different systems can do that.
Kafka.
Yeah, Kafka is also one example. I don't know if Spring has a ready-made abstraction for that concept that we could use.
For an event store? Not as such, no.
Is there a way to kind of scope something outside of the JVM, like this is scoped to the cluster? Is there such a concept in Spring?
To say that this bean is
visible and shared between the whole cluster of.
No.
I mean, that rule sounds like EGBs, and we kind of
Yeah.
learned to do that.
Yeah, but I mean, if you are really sharing a signal between multiple machines, we would need to make it discoverable somehow.
I mean, code-wise, what you do is that you inject a signal factory, and that signal factory, it could be kind of JVM scoped, or it can be a signal factory implementation that is backed by that Hazelcast or Redis or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
if the signal factory, that's the Spring bean that you inject, not the individual signal.
Well, does it really mean that you would end up with like some magical IDs that are needed for actually connecting these things?
Yeah. So
we have a Spring integration.
Yeah.
Which allows you in Spring Framework. There's this concept of the message channel, right?
Right.
It's a pipe. You put a message in, and who knows where it goes. And then on the other end, you can hang off these enterprise integration adapters.
Yeah.
And they can talk to Hazelcast and Kafka and RabbitMQ and whatever. But the point is the code for this outbound tissue, the connective stuff from Vaadin to the outside world would just be put it in the message channel.
Yeah, but we also need to kind of find old messages and those things.
That's
so
a
it might
different
not be
concept.
enough.
There might be I wonder if the message store, which is actually in Spring Integration,
Okay.
not Spring Framework, but
Yeah.
I wonder if that's a separate topic.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you should have a look.
Yeah, and we have this we have this event publication table in Spring Modulith, which sounds like you might be able to get most of the way there. It has a listener ID, it has the completion date, the dispatch date, it has the whether if the completion date, and also has a state machine to tell you whether the dispatched component is processing it or not.
Okay.
Right, so nobody, like if you had multiple nodes, they wouldn't grab onto a missed message and try and reprocess it because it's in the wrong state. Somebody else has already locked it.
Right.
So, I don't know.
Yeah.
We shouldn't do R&D over a live stream.
Here we are.
Yeah. Not again. No, I mean,
Yeah.
no, anyway, super
It's
interesting.
definitely like really one of the things I'm most looking forward to.
Yeah.
And people really love it here.
Yeah.
The only problem is Leif's just here talking, not coding. So
Go in code.
Well, I mean, but again, that ability to register interest with a thing is very, there are several ways to do that in Spring.
Yeah.
And we should talk after this. We should see if we can find ways to connect it so it's generic and reasonable for people in that condition.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And
That is
it's
really
it's
cool.
like right now we're still at the stage where we're building the primitives for signals, and I think at like 25.1 is when we'll start hopefully to have helpers.
So Vaadin 25.1 in March.
Yeah, have helpers for components so that you don't need to write as much boilerplate. It just like looks super nice.
Right.
But just to be clear, you can try it today.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
But also like understand that this like it might look like, oh, there's a lot of extra code, like this doesn't seem as easy and fun as I hoped it would be. Like some of that is being.
So in the JVM it works great. In the same JVM, it's this distribution stuff that's like a little bit out there, right? Is that the idea, or is it still?
I mean, we also lacking integrations with all the component APIs.
Right.
So you can't say button.bind enable right now. You need to use an external helper to set up that binding.
So it's like kind of a bit more comfortable API. So.
Yeah. It's we just need to do with there are no question marks there.
Okay, so you know what to do, and it's just a matter of writing the code.
Yeah, getting Leif from here to his ID.
Right.
Really.
Cool. I mean that's super good. Vaadin is this incredibly rich component model, right? And so we need to start writing code in terms of the Vaadin API. You're thinking about widgets and panels and
really like we're trying to address one of the like core problems you start having when you're building larger and larger UIs with this, where like as Leif said, where you start having multiple different. Okay.
Interesting.
All right. Just a moment. I think you need to press the green or red button.
Green or red?
On the receiver itself.
This technology thing, like old phone, it's like.
Can I unplug it successfully? Either that or the lamp. I guess we'll find out if this thing comes back to life.
Yeah.
Keeping this over here.
Maybe they're kind of checking if you're checking out today.
Yeah, but not for another 3 hours. You know, I've got plenty of time.
Yeah.
Plenty of time. Okay. So anyway,
anyway, so like as you're building larger and larger UIs and you have more and more listeners that could possibly like change the UI state in one way or another, add more components and stuff, it becomes kind of more and more complex to build these, and I think this is such just an elegant solution to that problem. So
yeah, I mean that's what made React and Angular beat jQuery back in the days.
Indeed.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, because you're not actually propagating events. You're having some intermediary layer, the virtual DOM in those cases. We reconcile.
But that's all based on the same thought that you have the state as the foundational thing, and then we compute everything.
And there are a lot of cool things we can do by extracting the state from the components into signals.
Yeah.
One is, of course, just like in terms of code, we could like have one method or one place where we define the template, if you will, or the structure of the UI. That's separate. Then you get like a good overview of what that looks like. But then, as Leif talked yesterday, there are other really cool things we might be able to do if we extract the state from the components as they are today.
Stateless components.
Oh wait. Oh, that's
stateless Vaadin.
Stateless Vaadin.
Because then you don't need server state. You don't need any session. When
we
say stateless, we're talking about session state.
Yeah, exactly. So that's one of the challenges today with how we're serializing things, where Vaadin is component based, and we're essentially like each component contains its state, and we have a tree of those. So like the problem is then if you want to kind of replicate that state, it's quite big.
Yeah.
And it's one chunk. It's not kind of pieces that you can do one by one.
But again, if we extract the actual meaningful state, a few strings and a list and something there, that's much more manageable. That's something.
And you make it very clear that this is actually state that I care about.
Yeah.
And then if we had those adapters where you could write it transparently to something like Hazelcast.
Yeah.
Or some session.
Yeah. And then if that were true, then interesting.
Then basically Vaadin components could be singletons.
And also they could be no RAM, right? No session state.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. You got one instance of the component instead of one instance per user.
And right now, I think a lot of the state is there kind of by accident. So it's so easy to kind of build up the state in the component trees that you end up putting it in there without really needing to have that kind of modifiable state.
Yeah, and so much of it is just the same computed values that are kind of in multiple places and so on, and all of that is just redundant, because when we isolate this is the actual state, we don't care about anything else, then that actual state can be handled in a much better way.
So we've rebuilt Tapestry, is what you're telling me, right?
Yeah.
Tapestry had the same model. The component graph was static, and it was reused for every single request. The only thing that was changed was the parameters that were bound to request properties and things that the user specified, and some of them could be session stated. But the limitation with that, and the reason I like Vaadin, is because with the static component graph, I couldn't dynamically at runtime add components because it was a static fixed thing, right?
Yeah.
So you could simulate it, right? You could actually, they simulated it. It wasn't the same. You go through a for loop, and instead of dynamically adding a new button to the component model, what it was doing was re-rendering the same button multiple times, which had the effect of creating multiple buttons in a loop, right? So it made the component model a little clunky, but what you're saying is I could have this dynamic component graph if I want it, which is, I think, the more sensible default, but then I could get this static. If I have a program where it works, then I could also get the benefit to that static component graph as well. That's like really great.
Actually, if you're using signals the right way, then you anyways want to have those things also reactive. Like if I add a data item to my list, to my data list, then I of course want a component for that to show up on the screen, like yet another card in a card list or something like that, which means that you anyways build things in the same way, so that in most cases you just get the statelessness by default.
And this is pretty much the same thing as in React. So if you
Yeah.
have a list of, I don't know, LI elements in there, you kind of just create those on the fly as needed to basically represent the model.
I think the key thing is that it's much more natural with Vaadin, because you're actually building up those things with Java using lambdas and so on, rather than the XML monstrosity that you had in previous decades.
And the trick there is that this state that's important, which might have required a database call, you might set that up once, and then you can every single repaint, you can recreate that component graph because it's cheap.
I mean, we're not even recreating the graph.
Okay, really? Okay.
Because we just find kind of, these are the...
Oh, you got the delta, right. Virtual.
Even better, we kind of, these are the insertion points.
Right.
And then each signal is bound to an insertion point, and then whenever you change the signal value, we basically kind of find this is the place in the DOM that corresponds to this signal.
And so, therefore, it's the only thing that needs to be repainted or whatever.
Right. So it's much more dynamic than Tapestry of the past.
Yeah, that's that. Because that was, I liked Tapestry because it was stateless, but you just kept on running into this one little. It almost worked. You know what I'm saying? But it didn't. And I love things like Vaadin for that. And nowadays, like I don't even actually care about the RAM that much now, because if you want a rich UI, you're going to pay for state somewhere. I'd much prefer it be, at least I avoid the round trip and all that busy work. When writing a regular JavaScript app.
Yeah, and RAM is cheap these days.
Yeah, exactly. So, and like I said, we have things that allow you to plug it into external RAM caches, like.
We will have.
Yeah. Cool.
Wow, it's quite rarely that RAM would be the bottleneck. Somehow the bottleneck always ends up being like the
database.
Database queries that are basically coming from Hibernate, and it becomes a bit too complicated at some point of time, and people don't realize how kind of slow those are.
Days since it was Hibernate, back to zero. Days since it was not Hibernate, back to zero. Yeah. That's amazing. I can't, this is the kind of stuff I love. And again, you've got one integrated framework. So if people take advantage of this paradigm, they get.
I mean, we should try it out with you.
Yeah.
Immediately after this.
I'm down. Yeah. Hopefully they'll call us back.
Yeah. Next time they'll start ramming down the door. It's like, you should have checked that already.
That's their signal, and I don't like it now. I'm not registered for that signal. Okay, that's super cool. So that's a beta preview feature right now.
Yeah.
Okay, and 25.1 will come out in 26.
Yeah, March 26.
Awkward. Is there a reason for that?
We don't have a quarter release cadence for it.
But have you considered making 25 come out in 25 and making 26 come out in 26?
25 is coming at 25. So 25.10.
Oh, why not call it 26.1? I don't understand your.
Don't confuse things.
It just.
I mean, hey, come on, Spring Boot 7.
Yeah, it just comes out when it follows 6.
Well, I mean,
exactly.
very.
But we don't name it after a year. Are you
No,
naming
we
it after a
don't.
year?
We don't
No,
name
no,
it.
Oh, okay,
It just
okay.
happened to coincide
I was
this
just trying
year.
to figure out what's going on. I thought you were cow bear, and it's very confusing.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of fun because it's Vaadin 25
Yeah,
in 2025
yeah.
when Vaadin actually turned to be 25 years
With
old.
Java 25.
With Java
With
25.
Java 25, so it's
Wow. So
some
there's
kind of
100
numerology in there.
That's 100.
There's
Yes.
100
Yeah, a centennial
Yeah,
celebration.
100 increments of software to make all this work. That's awesome. Huge teams and everything. Actually, that's a really great point. Yeah, Vaadin, Java, and wow, the year. Oh, good on you. Well done.
Yeah,
It's
it
amazing.
just happened to coincide with it's not year based. The version.
It was not planned.
Yeah.
It was
I mean,
not-
just like Java is also at 25 in the year 25.
Leif was actually pushing back because I was really excited that, hey, yeah, let's kind of now do the annual cadence, having like 126 coming at 2026. It just happened to align, and you were kind of pushing back, hey, now people start to be associating the year with the number. And
I know.
what if you have to be kind of taking one more
Numerology. I think every release should be a UUID instead.
Yeah, that would be just super convenient.
16-digit random string, like release, blah, 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 blah. And now, one more thing.
It's like-
version 5254 dash, whatever.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's like, which version are you on? Like, hold on. Yeah, so
Can you imagine?
for more good software development practices, please follow
Yeah,
Joshua
yeah.
Lifestyle.
Can you imagine? And you're supported for every version before 1257 dash. Wait, what does that mean? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, they're obviously not chronological.
yeah, what does before mean? Help. This is how you make friends. Just do that to your users and see what happens.
And the number of viewers just went down
Yeah,
to
yeah.
like -2.
So you got. Oh, I'm so excited! Like you got the signal stuff. What else are you working on? That's what I was trying to get to. I
Yeah.
mean,
AI stuff. Have you heard of AI?
No. What is this?
That's Spring AI stuff. So
Spring
heard of
AI.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was.
Yeah, but they're yeah. I mean, on the AI front, obviously, lots of happening. There's both the how do we help developers be more productive
Yeah.
building apps with Java and Vaadin and all the good things, and
Yeah.
then there's how do we help people building apps with Vaadin add meaningful AI things to their application. So we're
So
we're
cool.
working on both sides. So on the fundamentals of like how do we make developers more productive with Vaadin, we're looking at very kind of basic things like making sure that we have a good MCP that provides agents with
Right.
context, instructions on what type of good practices and agent instructions are worth adding and using when you're doing development. And then of course we have Vaadin Copilot, which is this like development assistant.
Nice.
And with that, we're really hoping to kind of have that tightly integrate into whatever AI agent you're using in your IDE or command line. So if you're using Cloud Code,
Yeah.
they would kind of augment that. So you could do the more UI related things in it. So you could import a Figma and there, just paste it in and get a UI. And then you can select a couple components and ask Claude to like, hey, do this thing to those components. And then you can drag a picture in and say like, hey, make my theme look like this. And then it'll,
Speaking of that, by the way, that sounds really cool. Tangent, regular straight CSS. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, so cool. What?
yeah.
You have tried everything else except the,
Yeah. Yeah.
the kind of sane way of doing things.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, actually, it was kind of browser limitations that made us load CSS through JavaScript and lots of weird things. But now the browsers have caught up,
Okay.
and we
Yeah.
also catch up.
Well,
Yeah.
you went back to meet them where they were. That's awesome.
Yeah. And I mean, it's just so great whenever you're able to like take things away, take complexity away, but
Right.
still have the same functionality.
Oh yeah,
It's always such a good feeling.
the best. So okay, so you're talking about you've got the. By the way, isn't it great that Figma has basically won that market? So now we can standardize on it. Like you can.
Yeah,
build on
and
top
we
of it.
have this big set of components, like you said, and we have a Figma library with the exact same
right
components.
styling themes.
So when folks are working with designers, instead of like letting them just have free reign and do whatever crazy designers do,
right,
which tend to
unconstrained
be
by the
crazy.
realities of physics.
Yeah. You can say like you can design whatever you want, but here are the components that are available to you.
Yeah.
In
Go ahead.
Figma.
And then they kind of ignore those and
Yeah, and then you go and hit them with a stick and tell them to do it again.
Right.
But anyway, once you do get that, then like
Uh-huh.
turning that design into something that runs in Vaadin becomes quite straightforward.
Whoa.
yeah, we can actually nowadays just cut and paste from Figma to Vaadin Copilot, and it creates Java code for that automatically. So it's really cool.
Yeah.
Round tripping.
Yeah, and the cool thing too is it, like he said, it generates the Java code. There's no intermediate like design format or anything. It generates the code. It updates the code as you're working.
So it knows they've given a Figma element to generate the following Vaadin component.
Yeah, you can kind of define the mapping. So if you happen to be using Vaadin design system on the Figma side, then we have the mapping. But if you are not, you can still kind of define your own mapping so that it maps to your own specific components also on the Java side.
That's what I was just about to ask. Years ago, you remember this? We built a drone.
Mm-hmm. That's a while ago.
that is many years ago.
You remember this, right?
Yeah.
10 years ago.
Yeah, at least 10 years ago.
10 years.
I love working with the Vaadin team. We built a browser-based Bluetooth controller.
And we did actually fly over the
audience.
audience.
Right. Wait, but basically you're controlling a drone. That wasn't a component that you got in your catalog. We had to build that, so there's some J.
Yeah, it's a very common enterprise feature,
Sure.
Yeah.
Bluetooth, USB, remote control, a joystick, like PlayStation controller. By the way, that was back when you were using GWT.
Yeah.
So it was JavaScript NI, right? We had to write native code in JavaScript.
Yeah.
Right. So, but anyway, I guess my point is, if I wanted to do that today, do you have fly a drone over an audience control? Or so if I wanted to find my mapping for that today for Figma, is it possible for me to insert myself and create that new pipeline?
I guess it would make sense to kind of draw something nice looking in Figma and import that in to Copilot. But I think there would be probably kind of a temptation to start drawing like graphics in there, so it kind of looks like some kind of controller. So
could users provide their own mapping, and is there like a way to do that?
Yeah, I mean, if it's just kind of components that that we have, then that's kind of easy. But if we don't have a kind of a cut and paste as an SVG, and kind of that actually would be a cool feature to add.
Yeah.
I mean, we kind of have that for the screenshot input.
Oh, okay.
We do, but I mean, from Figma to cut and paste in such way that it will automatically on the fly create this kind of graphical SVG component, because we have the plumbing for that. We have even an add-on for that, but we don't have the Figma integration for that. So that would be something to consider.
Well, that service, that component gets a lot of use. It's,
the drone component.
The drone component, yeah. So it's really important that we support the enterprise customers.
Yes, I mean it's
flying drones from browsers.
Yeah, we always do very sensible things together.
Right, totally.
Never anything silly.
Yeah, today we also saw 4 different ways of running Tetris implemented in Java, running in the browser. Tetris implemented in Java, running in the browser in 4 different ways.
Yeah.
Okay.
Solving the real problems in enterprise.
Inquiring minds want to know. One thing, you gotta believe me, there's some really good stuff here. Just ignore what they're saying. One of the coolest things I saw was the chat component that you showed.
And I mean, that's the other side of the coin. Like obviously AI is great for building apps, but at the same time, those building apps want to have AI features in those apps. And one of the things that you see as a pattern, as a UI pattern, is that AI chat. And obviously we want folks like you to be able to have a really cool demo and do an AI chat without having to, you had some really ugly JavaScript code in your talk yesterday, and I was surprised.
Yeah, me too.
We need to somehow improve on that. Disgusting. So if you could just do like
it's the bad
new AI chat, pass in a Spring AI chat client, and
but so that's the point. That chat is powered by the UI is Vaadin, and then behind the scenes just talking to the chat integrations in Spring AI. Is that right?
Yeah,
basically. And like it was so there's this thing called T3 chat. Have you heard of this from Teo? He's another YouTuber.
Yeah,
and he's like making money off of a browser-based integration for just random models. You can point it to any of a number of different models.
Yeah.
So it's more flexible and powerful than the default ChatGPT or Claude or whatever models.
Right.
But it's his integration. So it's launched T3.chat. And I'm thinking, like, they're not too far in that thing you did as a demo from what he's offering, and you're just giving it away.
But I mean, it's something that a lot of people
giving it away, right?
That is the plan. Like that's
open source.
Oh my goodness!
So that's a base component. That's something that we want people to really use, and I think it's going to be a way for a lot of folks to learn about Vaadin. Like one of the cool things in the as AI has become more prevalent in the Java community is that we were really early working with the Spring AI team, and we're working with the K4J team, and a lot of the demos already are built with Vaadin, but like we want to be just the easiest, the default way of building a UI for it.
Yeah, but also, I mean, Vaadin's architecture makes lots of sense there, because you call those, you want to run those calls to like OpenAI or something from your server.
Yeah.
So then when you anyways have all of that in your server-side Java, of course it's very natural to have the Java UI there also.
Yeah. So let me maybe kind of zoom back a bit. So like in the very beginning of Vaadin, the cool thing why people chose to use that was that we had a nice looking web component in there that you could just use from Java. And behind the scenes, we're using like messy stuff like Ajax and a bunch of JavaScript that was completely hidden from Java developers. So the kind of the magic in Vaadin is that it's a full stack framework, so you can write stuff in Java and everything on the client side just happens. So that was kind of hard back in the days. So nowadays that same thing is happening with AI. So we can package this kind of full stack things that have the client side and the server side and all kinds of AI plumbing into one component that you can basically add on one line of Java to your UI. So I think we have a bit of parallel of this, what happened with Ajax like 20 years back, now happening with AI, and we can package that in the same way.
What's that? Remember there's this UI, there's this architecture where it's like microservices for UIs.
Front end.
Is that it? Yeah, that where the one team owns the user interface as well as the implementation of the service behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And it's perfect for embedding in some iframe or some whatever, use an include, use a proxy, whatever, but it gets aggregated into one big thing. And as long as they're all using the consistent styling, which you will if you're using Vaadin, right? You get this nice, really integrated thing, right? And what you just said kind of reminds me of like, yeah, why couldn't I have the user interface and the backend and the technology and the security all sort of like,
yeah, and I would say kind of we are more in the like monolith type of philosophical space where the application itself is you could see that it's a monolith, but then there are these kind of logical boundaries that isolate these two components. So I mean those if like micro front ends, they were built in a way that they have no association with whatever is around that.
Yeah, of course.
And it can completely decouple, but I think that having this kind of monolith type of way of thinking is more powerful.
Yeah, and when you're doing the composition of those parts in Java, then we also don't have to deal with a lot of the like client-side problems you have with micro front ends with like bundles having clashing versions of this and that. And,
totally. And with this it'd be the currency of reuse is just a component.
Yeah.
Right. And if whatever I bring in with that, if it's connecting to Spring AI or whatever, it's just a component. I just use that, and whatever it's bringing in is business. Yeah. That's awesome.
So we are doing a lot of experiments in this space. Yeah. So on the kind of same side of the spectrum, we have like a chat component.
Yeah, or the AI business intelligence dashboard
that I showed. But we are also experimenting on the completely insane side of the spectrum.
Do tell.
Yeah. So the most strange thing that we have been experimenting with is called Chi. Let me explain. So
I'm gonna check the chat and see if they've all left.
Yeah.
You go on.
Yeah. So all the UI concepts, they are based on HCI, like human computer interaction concepts, and so we were thinking that what.
Where are the laptops? We need some action.
We'll do this is intended for a podcast. We'll do another live stream with some demos going. But you could have been here in Germany, and then we would have seen plenty of demos. Yeah. Lots of demos. Anyway.
We can go show a demo of this one. So HCI is done for humans to use computers. Human using computers. Like you use mouse and keyboard and so forth. And now we have this AI thingies. Could it be that the AIs will be using humans in the future? Could we kind of turn it around?
Like the Matrix? Did you just describe the Matrix? Sir, you just described the Matrix.
Yeah.
I mean, this is
Yeah, but how do we make humans accessible as tools to computers?
Yes. So we started thinking, could we kind of somehow define a proper API to a human so that AIs could use those humans? I'm completely serious in here. This is
maybe we need a use case to describe this.
So
Is this human in a loop?
Yeah. So so the maybe one use case is that if you think of a corporation, they have all kinds of processes and they use things like SAP and humans are kind of running those processes. Yeah. So in the future, maybe it's not humans who are running those processes, but sometimes they need to be asking humans for guidance or approval or something like that.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So how do they ask you for something? They can give you a phone call, for example. So we experimented with that, but phone calls are acquired, so nobody was going to speak with the robot.
Yeah, I mean, he literally pulled the cord on the phone when somebody tried to call him.
So we thought that what if those AIs could call humans in a way that AI get a proper API and human gets a proper UI that doesn't have to be programmed by anybody. So what we created was we call it computer and human interaction. We have a site called computerhumaninteraction.com, and you can go there and try this out. So you can basically give any prompt for any type of thing, and it creates on the fly an API for an AI to interact with the human. So let's say if you wanna, what could I do?
Book a meeting.
Yeah, or kind of a super basic example. If you wanna have if AI wants to kind of contact you and check if you approve, expense report.
Right.
The AI can define that, hey, I want to kind of check with this human to approve an expert report. As a result, I want to have exact these variables from there. You define the JSON schema that this is what I want to have out of JOS, and then you hand it over to our G agent, the computer human interaction agent, and it creates on the fly an UI that might be interacting with you.
Yeah. I think the thing to really kind of understand here is when you say you, this you refers to an AI agent. So you as a developer don't write a JSON schema or anything. This is a tool for an AI agent to use. So you register this as a tool to your AI agent,
right?
And they can be like, hey, I need Josh to, like, he asked me an hour ago to like book him a vacation somewhere, and I've done research and I have like 3 alternatives, and I want to now get in touch with him and show him, like, here are the 3 alternatives I found with pros and cons, and have him choose. So then it could do a call with this task, say like, I want to show these 3 options to Josh. Here are some pictures and star ratings and stuff. And from Josh, I want the response of which one of these 3 should be chosen. So what we get back from there is a URL. You could then like send that as an SMS or Slack message or something to you. Right. And your phone says like, hey, AI agent so and so needs you to select your hotel, and then you click on it and you get a custom UI that's specifically built for just that UI interaction. Nobody has coded that UI. It's the
not even AI.
Not even AI. We literally taught an LLM essentially a new modality, so it knows how to speak in UI components. Okay. So when you interact with a UI, you click a button or something, it just responds in a message format that allows us to just update the UI directly based on that. The big problem here is like there's a lot of stuff to wrap your head around to like understand what this even.
So I would become in this. So the process is being run largely by the AI, but it needs clarification. It needs confirmation.
Yeah.
So in that sense, I would become an MCP. I would be like a tool.
Yeah, you are the tool.
Next time somebody calls me a tool, I say, you're right, I am a helpful human.
Yeah.
You know?
I have a purpose.
Yeah, I have a purpose. Yeah. Not the insult that it used to be.
Yeah.
This kind of reminds me of MCP elicitations, right? Like you've got this ability to ask with MCP the user questions, but the question is, how do you represent that? And
but that always goes back to whatever the client was that called. This could like literally know that it has a different tool that knows that Josh is online on Slack right now, so let's do that. Or he's not online on Slack, so let's send in an SMS. Or
so the AI is now calling me a tool and it's following me around my work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Soon it will give you a really
It's
comfortable little pod to sleep in.
Yeah.
Just get in there. It'll
Plug
be
this
fine.
in.
Yeah.
We needed to keep the lights on.
Yeah, it was kind of I was discussing what with I don't name the company, but with one big company around where they could be using this thing, and somehow the discussions went to like recruitment, and they had an idea that, hey, if I would be saying that the task is to check whether Josh can do Spring, what would happen? And then we kind of just typed in that, hey, give a school grading from A to F on human, how well they can do
That's
Spring.
a question we don't need an answer for,
And
please.
the problem was that
Pointing.
the agent, it came up with, Spring, let's kind of do a questionnaire, and it kind of started testing and kind of deep diving into those questions, and then it gave a grade. So this is kind of scary if the AI starts testing these kind of things without any guidance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
Yeah. So this is like from the crazy labs.
No, but so do you remember BPEL? BPEL?
No?
Business process.
Oh, yeah, I
Execution
remember,
Language?
yeah.
From decades ago, right? They created this BPEL, and it was SOA. It's an orchestration of SOA services. The problem is business processes involve people. That's the most important part, in fact, is the people. And what's the point of long-lived process management if you don't have a natural way to accommodate the humans in the loop? So we're using humans in the loop today to talk about AI, but we had the same kind of thing going on for workflow definitions decades ago, right? And so then these geniuses who created people said, oh yeah, we should have had people. So then they created, I'm not kidding, people for people, right? And because workflows are all about orchestrating work, and work isn't done entirely by computers, not even in the best idealized situation with AI today. So you need to have autonomous actors and human actors, right? And so then, obviously the situation is better now. We have BPMN, which naturally has a task list for humans, as well as a task list for workers, But yeah, that having that, if I were to take another swing at building workflow, I'd definitely have this sort of that ability to like elicit feedback and have that natural sort of modality for cooperation.
And for a lot of tasks, like we as humans are very visual. It's nicer if we get a picture of like the different hotels and we can click on them and get more info versus just get a chat interface or somebody calling us. Like it's much nicer for us to interact with a UI.
We should do a demo with our friends over at Flowable, the Belgian workflow BPMN engine.
Yeah, I think
the three of us should get together in a room and build something really cool.
Yeah.
The three groups, that's, oh my goodness, I can't even imagine. That's really cool. All the jokes aside, that is super, super cool. Because that's exactly what we want. Is the big problem with AI right now is that we can't get what we want in one shot, right? And so the next frontier of work is around agentic and making this human in the loop interaction more sensible, right? And if you can get both those things right, it sounds like you're taking a very huge step forward.
This is experimental. So there is the practical limitation today is that the foundation models are not good enough. So either you get a model that is too slow, so the UI is acquired because it's super slow, or it's too dumb, so it kind of creates UIs that are not really that great.
Right.
So I hope that eventually the models will be kind of getting in there, and this will be practical. But today it's not yet practical.
It's getting close then.
Yeah. Wow. The future is almost here. That's amazing.
But that's a spectrum. That was a crazy part, and they kind of
the AI chats like the very same thing that we can ship very soon.
but still, that is all really. That's what we want, is this integrated experience. And because Vaadin is on the server side, it has access to the back-end AI stuff.
Yeah.
And it has access to the client. Oh, that's amazingly good use of your position. Yeah.
I just feel like I want to get coding.
Yeah, me too. I guess on that bombshell, we're at Vaadin Create 25. Any other big things that people should have known about?
I think that we are all kind of excited about all kinds of signals and really technical stuff.
Yeah.
But the reason why people really are using Vaadin is that the UI components, they look awesome and they're kind of easy to use. And all this kind of how it looks like and how they behave and all the accessibility is kind of just built in. So we took a really big step to by introducing a new theming system, new theme called Aura with 225, or it will be shipped later this year. So that really is something that I'm super excited about.
It doesn't look like iOS glass, right?
No.
No. Even though Jonas has been pushing for it a lot. He's like, what if everything was transparent and you can't make sense of anything? It's like, yeah, that sounds good. No, but it's, and that's very much related also to your comment on like, oh, you can just load CSS. Like that's one of the
so nice
things. Yeah, because sometimes we listen to our users. And
of course you do.
So.
I know you do. Okay.
Yeah.
Where do people learn more? I mean, about Vaadin.com.
I would go to Vaadin.com. Usually Leif is standing at the corner of some sort of market square yelling about signals, like with a sign. But yeah, probably Vaadin.com is
Vaadin.com, which is a kind of reindeer.
It is a kind of reindeer.
Yeah, in Finnish.
Yeah. Or Sami.
Yeah. And if somebody wants to go to that kind of crazy end of the spectrum, try this prototype of ours, computerhumaninteraction.com.
Yeah.
And if you try it out and you figure out what it would be useful for, now we have the technology, we don't have the use case yet. Yeah. So it would be awesome if they would.
Yeah.
Would you help me?
Yeah. The only thing is when you go in there, you need to be in the mindset. I am now an AI agent using this tool, because that's like been the challenge when we were showing this to people. They think that they're people. And they're like, I don't want to like write JSON schemas. Like, why would I want to do that? It's like, you don't have to do that. It's the AI agent that wants actually.
That's a really fun role playing exercise.
Yeah.
Imagine you're an AI agent.
Yeah.
What would you do?
Yeah, but from the AI agents, from the AI agents standpoint, it's like super frustrating to talk to humans. They're just giving you this like nonsensical, non-structured input, and they're like, I don't care, just like give me a Boolean value for this. So that's why they're able to give a schema, and then it will return the whatever they wanted an answer for in the exact form that the agent needed.
Yeah, without dealing with these pesky humans.
Yeah, and we have really funny quotes from actual AIs describing why they think this is good.
The customer testimonials, basically.
Yeah, it's like humans are great and innovative, but they're really annoying because they can't like just give you a straight answer. They're just. All right, I think we broke Josh.
Yeah,
we need to stop.
My head. They have a. I hate to say this, but I'm glad the AIs don't have unions yet. Like they can't quit. Because I think we might drive them to it. Yeah. Okay. Vaadin.com. By the way, have you ever considered just registering reindeer.f? What is the Finnish? Fi. Just as and making it in aliens. You've got Vaadin.com, which is a Finnish word going to the.
Yeah, we have not, but now when you said it aloud, maybe somebody.
Will it interact? And whoever solves a computer-human interaction use case problem and the reindeer.fi problem, could you please solve the cruise ship conference problem? Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, my friends.
Thank you.
Thank you, Josh.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
We'll do another one with demos. And the video. Are there videos from this conference?
They will be published later on.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.